we explore in depth today what may be the most significant change in world finance this decade. Bill 6A, a legislative amendment that puts XRP on par with the Japanese yen and raises it from a digital asset or cryptocurrency to full legal tender status, was recently adopted by Japan. As a result, XRP is now accepted in formal transactions nationwide, ranging from business payments to settlements at the government level. The decades-old global payment network SWIFT is already responding with worry from its Tokyo offices, demonstrating how fundamentally this move upends traditional banking and payment systems. In order to comprehend the scope of this change, we must examine Japan's Payment Services Act, which was modified by Bill 6A. Cryptocurrencies were previously acknowledged as digital assets under the Act, but they were not given currency status. This change specifically refers to XRP as a currency rather than merely a cryptocurrency token. Due to this little but significant modification, XRP is now legally accepted for financial settlements, transfers, and payments throughout Japan. The Financial Services Agency, or FSA of Japan, which is authority over the issuance, trading, and integration of XRP into banking systems, will be subject to strict regulatory scrutiny under the bill. In essence, any doubt regarding XRP's place in Japan's financial system is eliminated by this official acknowledgement. The SBI Group, a significant Ripple partner and financial giant in Japan, is among the first to benefit from this legal improvement. In order to enable smooth value transfers between Tokyo, Osaka, and Fukuoka, SBI has already established continuous round-the-clock liquidity corridors between XRP and the Japanese yen. These corridors enable real-time settlement, significantly lowering the customary delays related to interbank and cross-border payments. Even on weekends and public holidays, SBI's XRP-powered corridors are completing transactions in a matter of seconds, indicating a true paradigm change in speed, cost, and efficiency. Whereas SWIFT's network still depends on a 48, 72-hour processing window for international transfers. The ramifications are not limited to Japan. According to reports, SWIFT's Tokyo office has responded with worry, leading to urgent discussions with its banking members. At risk is SWIFT's well-established status as the foundation of international payments. SWIFT's primary business model, which mostly relies on sluggish batch process transfers and correspondent banking connections, is directly threatened by XRP's capacity to settle payments nearly instantly. Despite major structural obstacles, this new competition has compelled SWIFT to think about technology advancements and reassess its approach to prevent obsolescence. Therefore, Japan's action also strikes a chord with the US Federal Reserve, particularly when considering its FedNow real-time payment pilot program. FedNow was created to update the nation's payment system, but as of right now, it doesn't include digital assets or blockchain. The Fed is under more pressure to adopt comparable technology as a result of Ripple's expanding presence in Japan and the legalization of XRP as money. The usage of RippleNet in Japan may now serve as a model for future FedNow cooperation or growth, according to reports, particularly if the US wishes to keep its competitive advantage in the global financial market. Now that Japan's creative strategy is gaining traction, the Fed is being closely watched. Legislators throughout the world are also taking notice of Japan's decision. With the goal of recognizing XRP or comparable digital assets as legal cash, MPs in South Korea, Singapore, and the United Arab Emirates are actively drafting legislation that may resemble Japan's Payment Services Act modifications. The ripple effect, or perhaps more accurately the domino effect, is likely to pick up speed as these nations prepare to hold crucial votes in the next week. The Asia-Pacific area may become the first significant crypto-legal tender bloc in history, if these nations follow Japan's example, further cutting out traditional financial actors and hastening widespread adoption. Significant price momentum is being driven by this institutional support and legal clarity from an investment perspective. As investors and institutions responded to the news, XRP's market price increased by over 20% in the hours following the release, and trading volumes increased as well. This rise, in contrast to earlier speculative pumps, is supported by real legislative change and development of practical usage. According to analysts, XRP's price may rise to $3 to $5 in the upcoming year due to expanding liquidity, institutional usage, and regulatory approval worldwide. As a result, this development also essentially refutes some of the most prevalent complaints made about XRP. In fact, in Japan, where XRP is officially accepted as currency, there is no need to dispute whether it is a security. And worries about centralization. The FSA's fairly stringent audits and compliance standards have resolved such issues and made sure that XRP's network complies with established legal requirements, while upholding the principles of decentralization. Furthermore, the outdated perception of XRP as merely a speculative asset has been disproved by its practical government-supported use in payment corridors and business. From the beginning, Ripple's strategy was evident: make regulatory engagement a top priority, establish solid institutional relationships, and provide useful real-world applications. To be honest, the most obvious evidence of that strategy's effectiveness is Japan's legal recognition of XRP. Furthermore, Ripple is establishing XRP as a global settlement layer with sovereign support, when other blockchain initiatives are still battling with fragmented adoption and regulatory uncertainties. As those nations get ready for their own elections, Ripple's executive team is allegedly visiting Seoul and Abu Dhabi this week to meet with business executives and legislators. The regulatory future of XRP in Asia and the Middle East will be influenced by the success or failure of these impending bills. In actuality, the stakes could not be higher. Global momentum and integration are accelerated as each additional state that formally recognizes XRP puts more pressure on the remaining nations to take action. Investors, fans, and holders of XRP should remain alert and knowledgeable at this time. In all honesty, you want to be on the right side of history, and the road from digital token to accepted currency is being paved in real time. We'll be providing you with in-depth analyses of Bill 6, exclusive reports from the introduction of the SBI corridor, and real-time information on legislative developments in Korea, Singapore, and the United Arab Emirates. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell. A new era of currency and payments has been ushered in by Japan's audacious decision. By making XRP legal tender, Ripple has completely upended the global banking system and forced established players like SWIFT to reconsider their strategies. The race is on, with XRP at the forefront. Disclaimer.